Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is a scene from the Changeling venue. In this scene, Kegoma is journeying to Tara Nar, where he is going to bear witness to the first Nervosa conflict of the Kingdom of Apples. This is a task that he's been asked to do by his lord. He's all about doing it. He's very motivated and excited about doing it. But he has currently run into a couple of challenges on his own while pursuing the arts of his kith. He's kind of ran into a stumbling block, and that's kind of has him discouraged. That with being held up in Krishni with his dreamers and retinue is kind of dividing his focus. So he's not sure what's happening to him. If he's just dividing himself to spreading himself too thin, or if there's something really wrong and the dreaming is denying him this birthright. He's really disconcerted. So while he's journeying to Tara Nar, and while he even as he even glides up to a speaking area that has been prepared for him. He has all these things in his mind, on his mind, excuse me, and he starts to speak his tale, and his mind is elsewhere. He's a very accomplished speaker, so even though his mind is elsewhere, he's thinking about these things. He's running over different scenarios in his head, and I join his story now, already in progress. The gray world, the world that was not our world by birth, the world that's next door to our world of wonder and splendor, um, did not feel what fermented in the dream. For kiths of kingdom were gathered in haste, but united in cause. The high noble houses of the kingdom of apples roll forth in grand splendor and with grandeur akin to the magnificence of the high war that she were accustomed to. But the army paused. It stood. Eerily, it was balanced on the edge of a moment which was ripe with danger and full of the fear of terror, spunt dreams. It stood, contemplating all that has come before, all that has led its warriors to this place, and all that they had promised. Hence, it stood, and then from the army, a voice rose to greet the soldiers. Although the war may have ended, our duties as she and commoners, both under the sheet, are clear. We will protect our dreamers and our world. The voice that Kegoma used wasn't his. By some strange twisting of one of his arts, maybe chicanery, the voice he used was that of Lenore's. It was clear as a bell, clear as it was that day when she used it to rile or draw forth the passion of her soldiers, the passion of her men to join in battle. Kagoma turns to finish his story, continue his story. He describes a story of malignant angelic spirits that came forth from whirling winds, tornadoes that ripped through the air. He tells a story of how ravens as big as cars blotted out the firmament and the diamond glittering stars that was housed to the night sky. He tells a tale of how arts of conveyance were used to transport Kithane to and fro into the battle. They bounce to and fro dancing almost, like lights, like flickering candlelight. Um, but as he continues to tell the tale, it suddenly turns to a tale of confusion, to chaos. He tells the tale of how, although the Cathay knew their purpose and they had a leader there with them in battle, the head of that unit was no longer solely concentrated on bringing that unit home. The head of that unit was up to her ankles in battle, in blood, um, and by no fault of her own, she no longer directed her men. And then a clear call, like a bell, rose through the area. The rooftop was joined by a second regiment, the regiment from Krecny, led by Lord Valerius. Kegoma then spins a tale of how Lord Valerius called to his men. With keen eyes, he discerned almost instantly um, the flow of battle and directed his men appropriately to make short work of the chimerical creatures on top the rooftop. Seeing Valeria's efforts, Princess Lenore followed suit, and as the skies cleared, the whispered litany of profane curses retreated from the dawn of a new day. Two sheaves stood together, two contenders for one position in the kingdom of apples. Kegoma doesn't feel like he has to say whom he supports, but he does feel compelled to tell one important truth, that together the Cathane are strong. Together the dream will endure. Together we will be able to face all that this world has to throw at us. But if one one Cathane had to lead, if one person had to ascend to the position of regency, it should be none other than Lord Valerius. His skill and acumen guarantees that he is the best choice for the role. Kegoma will step down from his prepared podium and he will start walking back to Krecny. He doesn't stay around and listen to the fanfare. He's not retreating from any possible conflict, but he's still uncertain. Um, his tale was true, um, but he's not comfortable how he told the tale. He's not comfortable using his tales for something other than just inspiration. This political leveling of his gift doesn't quite sit well with him. He hopes it doesn't further distance him from the elusive mastery of the art that he's trying to achieve. And that's where I'll leave the scene. Thank you so much for watching. I should probably make a performance roll. Hold up, give me one moment. Go dice stream, go dice stream, go dice stream, go dice stream. All right. So not very successful. But maybe 3 successes will do. Nope. So those are the successes. Those are the successes. It depends on the difficulty. Of course, Kegoma, not of course, I'm sorry. Kegoma does have enchanting voice, so I'm not sure what the difficulty is. But we have a 3, we have a 1, we have a 3, we have a 4, we have a 5, and a 2. Doesn't look too good, but that's the tale he tells. Thanks everyone for watching again. Hope you guys have a great night.